In the last video, I explained that you are not just the one experiencing the movie of your life, you are also what's creating it. The matrix, the screen, and what shows up on it comes from you. But that brings up a question that almost everyone asks at some point. If I am the one projecting this, why would I ever create experiences that feel like pain or loss? Because we haven't taught something very specific. We haven't taught that growth comes from struggle, that meaning comes from sacrifice, that the harder the story, the more valuable it is. But that idea is an old belief, and you have options. Think about an actor. Yes, I know. My analogy about the actors, right? But let's make it even simpler. Think about someone choosing to play the role of an athlete. At a deeper level, they may decide, I want to experience what it feels like to be an athlete. That's the role, that's the thing. But the way that role unfolds is not fixed. One person might experience that as natural talent. Everything flows, doors open, things feel easy. Another might experience it through discipline, setbacks, injuries, recovery. Both are still exploring the same role. So the role isn't the problem. The challenge is not required. It is just one version of how that experience can play out. And this is where it becomes important for you. Even if there is a level of you that chose a theme, the way you move through it right now is still yours. You don't have to choose struggle to make something meaningful. You don't have to go through pain to make something real. You can experience depth, clarity, expansion through alignment, through ease, through awareness, because you are not locked into a single version of the story. You are still the one shaping how it unfolds in real time. And the way you do that is not by forcing the outside to change first. It's by aligning with a version of you that is already living it the way you prefer. Because every possible way of experience that role already exists. The version of you who struggle through it exists. The version of you who move through it with more ease also exists. What determines which one you experience is the state you are in. The way you think, the way you feel, the way you see yourself, the way you respond to what shows up. That's your frequency. The matrix responds to that, not to what you say you want, but to the state you are actually in. So instead of asking, why is this happening to me, or what do I need to do to change this? You begin to ask, who will I be if I was already living that differently? How will I think? How will I respond right now? And you start there, not by pretending, but by choosing moment by moment to move in that direction. Because the moment your state changes, the way the experience unfolds begins to change with it. You don't have to wait for a different scene to feel different. You shift and the scene responds. The matrix, the screen, is neutral. It doesn't decide what something means. It doesn't label anything as good or bad. It simply reflects. But that moment, something happens in your life. Your conditioning immediately tries to define it. This is wrong. This shouldn't be happening. And that's the moment where the weight gets created. Because the scene itself is just energy. When you pause, even for a second, and you stop reacting automatically, you begin to see the scene differently. Not as something happening to you, but as something being shown through you.